Hey everyone, on today's episode, Alex and I are talking about how to understand what you should be selling your clients on, because 99% of contractors try to sell on the wrong emotion, which is why they stay stuck in their business. Check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to Contractor Growth Network. I'm Logan.
And I'm Alex.
And today's topic that we're talking about is what stops so many contractors from making sales, or business people as a whole. But it's they focus on the wrong parts of the sale. And what I mean by that is we work with a lot of people that they charge significantly more than their competitors. Some are 50% higher, others are 300% higher. And the problem is that what they focus on, and when people say, well, you're so much more expensive, why is that? They have a hard time justifying it because they say things like, well, we provide a quality service or we provide a good experience, but nobody really knows what that means. And unfortunately, it loses a lot of sales because if you can't tangibly say this is how it works, or this is exactly why we're different, then why would somebody pay more money for you? So that's the whole idea of what we want to talk about today. And then talking about what do people actually care about? Because if you're selling them on communication, but to them, they don't give a shit about communication, all they care about is speed or efficiency or whatever it is, then you're selling the right product with the wrong positioning and your SOL. So Alex, how does all that sound?
Sounds very accurate. It sounds like
it is.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know before we talked, you used the example of like Mercedes versus Genesis. If you're buying a car, and it's like they're buying Mercedes because of the name. They think every high-end car is high-end and high quality and should drive the same, but they're driving because it's a Mercedes.
So let's talk about that, because this is a huge thing that I hear all the time from contractors is, this person didn't want to spend $9,000 on a paint job, yet I had to walk between their two Mercedes in the garage to get there. So they clearly have the money, but they're just cheap. And it's like, are they cheap, or do they value something different, and what you are selling them doesn't stroke that side of their ego? So let's talk about the Mercedes, Alex. Tell me some of the pros or some of the reasons that people buy Mercedes as a whole.
Luxury.
Luxury? What do you mean by luxury?
It's just like it's more of a comfortable ride, comfortable experience than a Chevy Malibu per se. The brand, obviously, Mercedes is related to like money, wealth, status.
So let's talk about that aspect of it. What do you mean? So when you drive a Mercedes, or you see somebody that drives a Mercedes, what do you think?
Well, so normally Mercedes cost more money, so you think that they're doing well for themselves. Not necessarily millionaire, but they're comfortable. They don't really have to worry about money, or their paycheck is not in doubt right now.
Okay, so we've got quality, luxury, then we've got status. Is there anything else are there any other reasons why people buy Mercedes?
One thing I think of is it's like a foreign made car, so maybe it seems a little bit like exclusive if you live in America, but.
Okay, so a little bit exotic. It could feel back in that status side of things a little bit. The only other thing I could really think of is the experience of like buying, or like when you go and get your car, like the oil change, if you happen to go back to the dealership to do it, it's generally a higher level of experience. You're not going to sit in the waiting room with cheap coffee that's been on sitting in the pot for 4 hours. It's a more massaged experience.
Yeah,
but that's probably not the leading factor of why people buy Mercedes. They don't buy it for the once every 6,000 mile oil change experience.
Yeah, probably not. They probably have somebody else go do it for them anyway. So it's
yeah, like I know with like my dad, like he has a Lexus, I think, and they drive to the house, pick it up, go get the oil change, drive it back. So like that's another level of what he. Yeah. So okay. So it sounds like, let's just take that one to the side. So now with Mercedes, which is probably, if you're a contractor listening to this, you're going after that Mercedes crowd. You're going after people that drive that. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to completely sell them on luxury. You're saying, well, you like Mercedes. It's a clean ride. It feels good. It's smooth. that's the same thing of working with me. Is it's luxury. I'm luxury. I give a good experience. When you work with me, it's a good lasting impression. But they're forgetting the other half of Mercedes, which is status. So that is one of the problems here, is that, you know, you have a Mercedes, which is a very nice car. You also have an Acura, very nice car. You also have a Genesis, which is an offshoot of Hyundai, which, if you've never ridden one, a very nice car.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got, probably, if you want to go for the feel and the ride, you've got a Bentley.
Mm-hmm.
Which a Bentley, it's probably a little bit more comfortable, just a little bit more luxurious, not over the top, not 3 times, because the price point is probably 3 times more than a Mercedes, and it's probably not 3 times more comfortable, because I don't know how that's possible. But now you're buying it again. I mean, why do you buy a Bentley, Alex?
Status. You got a Bentley.
You got a Bentley. So if you are dealing with those kinds of people and you're selling on just luxury alone, well, if your person drives a Mercedes, you're only halfway there. Now, if your person drives a Genesis because they like luxury and all that kind of stuff, then you're good. You can keep going. So I'm gonna turn this iPad off real fast because otherwise it's gonna go off. Then you're good. You know, if you have a Genesis person or an Acura person, okay, you have a better shot because they like luxury, but they don't care so much about the name brand or about showing off or about status. But if you got a Mercedes or a Bentley person, well, now if you're going inside to paint their bathroom, which mainly just that, they're just going to see it. It's not really like their friends and families go, oh my God, you see that Alex guy got his bathroom painted? He must be loaded. He must be having a great year at work because his bathroom is a whole different color than it was last year. It doesn't work like that. So now the status is gone.
Yeah.
So that's the problem, is that you look at these things and you go, well, they've got Mercedes, or wow, they live in a really nice neighborhood. Well, why do people live in nice neighborhoods? Is it because the houses are nicer? Maybe, but you could also get a nice house outside the city for, you know, a house in Dilworth, which is kind of where I live. I live in an apartment, so I'm not there, but the houses in Dilworth, they probably average about 1.5 million. They're a normal house that if you took it outside the city would probably cost, with land and everything, 500,000. But people are not paying an extra, you know, 3 times as much money because the house itself is more quality. In fact, the houses are probably shittier because they're older. But they're paying for the location, they're paying for the neighborhood, they're paying for the status of I live in Dilworth. So those are what people focus on, yet you sell your product entirely on quality, when in fact, that's maybe only 20-30% of what people want.
Yeah. And when they hire you from those neighborhoods and have those things, they're already thinking that you're high quality and you do great work. That's why they would call you. That's why they would hire you. So before you even step foot in their house or put that drop cloth down, if you're a painter, then they already have that preconceived notion. So all you have to do is just not screw it up, and then you have that. So, but that's not exact. That's probably not why exactly they hired you, though, because there could have been 40 other guys that they thought that was it.
So we had talked about this yesterday, and we'll get to how to position it, but we talked about this yesterday, 2 days ago, of why do people buy Apple? And there's 3 things that we came up with. You remember what the 3 things were, Alex? I wrote them down.
I don't. I only remember that it was easy to use. Well, it's easy. It's a clean look. I can't remember the third one.
Yeah, they have a strong brand. And part of the brand is the culture, the identity of who you are. So when you rock Apple, I mean, I've got AirPods in right now, so like it's obvious, you know who I am because I have Apple. It's simple to use. If you don't have Apple products, it's crazy because with these AirPods, like I just open up the case that they come in, and my phone, a pop-up says, "Hey, do you want to connect your AirPods?" And then last but not least is you know what you're getting. So that's a big pull of Apple, is those big 3 things. But unfortunately, a lot of and if you sell to Apple people, if you say, look, this is, you know, oh, you got an iPhone, like I only go to iPhone people, which is great because there's actually a huge, like the demographic of iPhone people just like stuff to be done. They like to be easy, like to be simple. If you're an Android person, you probably like it a little bit more custom. But unfortunately, what you're doing is you're selling your custom project that you don't make it easy to work with you. You don't really tell people what they're getting because it's not good communication, or you are doing everything so custom that it's hard to say this is what you're going to get, and you don't have a strong brand, yet you're trying to sell to people that are used to the strong brand, simple to use, they know what they're going to get. So you're selling on the wrong things. You're positioning yourself in the wrong way. So you're doomed from the beginning because you're selling on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's like, Alex, you want to go to the bar, you want to pick up that girl, and I was like, dude, Alex, if you pick up that girl, you're going to be really successful at work. And if your pain is, well, I want to be more successful at work, then that makes sense. You're going to go, okay, I'm in. But if all you want to do is hook up or find a spouse or whatever it is, then me saying you're going to be way more successful at work if you go talk to that girl, you're like, well, that's neat, but like that's not really why I'm doing this per se.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if everyone's different, but if they all want that, say their bathroom painted, more than likely about, I'd say, 85% of the time, they have the same pain point. So it's not like just saying everyone's different. I got to find each individual pain point. Everyone's probably got the same one or two. So you just go off that. And if it's different, then it's different. Then you find it out, but you have to start somewhere. So it could just be, it's outdated. I'm embarrassed to show it off when people come over. The rest of the house is beautiful, but this bathroom needs to be painted since from this pink to a nice ocean blue or something like that. So.
And if your clientele, so like when we build websites, that's like one of the things that we want to know is why is your client doing this? So for example, we did a website for a deck guy, and he had new deck builds, new deck installs versus rebuilds. And what we identified was the people that install the deck brand new, they're generally mid 40s, no kids, and they like to entertain. They like to party. They like the people to be able to go outside on their deck and hang. But the people that are rebuilding it are generally family people, and it's safety for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sell a deck rebuild as, hey, when we rebuild this deck, you're gonna be able to party here with all your friends all the time. How much does the family who's really going for safety care about partying on the deck with their friends?
Zero.
Right. They don't care about that because they're not even thinking about that. They're thinking about there's so many nails coming up, there's splinters coming up. We just got to rebuild this because if not, our kids are going to mess themselves up bad. Hey guys, real quick break from this. If you are a contractor and you want to discuss the things that we're talking about here and you want to take action and actually have some accountability so you grow your business, head to Facebook, join our private Facebook group called Contractor Growth Network. We'll see you there. Let's say you're selling paint. How do you sell to those people that are all about status, yet you're a painter where I don't think you painting the inside of your bedroom and the inside of your closet is necessarily going to increase you're not going to climb the social ladder in life. So how do you do it? A lot of that really comes into the positioning of why they're getting it done. So bathroom painting. Alex, why do you think most people get their bathrooms painted?
I would say because it's an ugly color or it gets outdated. I feel like bathrooms, people go out of their way for an exotic color, and then you lose taste with it real quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people I think try to paint their own bathroom because it's fun or whatever. Bathrooms are pretty gross as a whole because of there's hairspray all over it. There's potential mold growing in it, all this kind of stuff. I think bathrooms are more of a safety thing as well because it's you want to have paint that can kind of deal with more moisture. But if somebody's all status, then you want to kind of position that as, if you got imagine going into somebody's house or you're there for a dinner party or whatever, and they've got mold in the bathroom. What's the first thing you're going to think?
Gross. Ew. They can't afford to fix this or something like that.
Yeah, it's nasty. Like, I don't want to come back to this house and this and that. So it's like, if you have people that you know are big on status and big on entertaining, but you're trying to sell, well, we do a quality product, reposition it, sell it
Hmm.
as, you know, a bathroom finish that everybody's going to love. So now it's kind of switching it over to really going for the emotions of what people want. Because otherwise, if you keep diving into quality and experience and this and that, then you're selling on the wrong stuff. People don't care because now you're just like looked at as another bathroom person or a bathroom painter, because they're going to go, well, everybody provides a good experience, right? And everybody does a quality finish, right? But if you can now switch over to the pain of, this is, we're focusing on solving this end problem for you. We're focusing on the status issue. We're focusing on making sure that when we finish your bathroom, it's going to look amazing. So if you do entertain or you have people over, they're going to be wowed by your bathroom, which is the last place in the house that you're probably thinking that they're going to be, impressed by. But we're
Hmm.
going to make sure that we get there for you.
Hmm. So on the website, I feel like that's like the first thing when people make their own websites or their first couple websites, they put, you know, 30 years of experience. We make high quality, we remodel high quality kitchens, or we paint high quality bathrooms. So what would you put on that initial home screen, say for like a painter that is trying to hit that pain point of, like, we're gonna give you we're gonna make this bathroom look the best it's ever looked, or something like that.
Well, you can use some of those buzzwords, but unfortunately, a lot of people just use the buzzwords by themselves. So imagine, Alex, you're hiring somebody, and under their skills were this: works well in teams, works well individually, hard worker, good time management skills, fantastic at communication. What did that tell you about that person?
They're a good communicator and they're hardworking. Maybe. I
Right.
mean, yeah,
But like who's not going to put that on their resume? Who's going to put
yeah.
shitty communicator, works terribly
Oh,
with
yeah,
other people?
yeah, yeah.
Like, everybody puts that, but it makes no sense. But everybody does that same thing on their with their website, with their logo, with their everything. Is they just say, this is why we're the best, because I've been around for 30 years.
Hmm.
No, nobody cares if you've been around for 30 years. Nobody cares if you were in the military. Nobody cares if you're a family run company, unless you can switch it into how they care.
Hmm.
We have been around for 30 years, so which means that with our 10-year warranty, you'll know we'll be there if anything goes wrong.
Yeah. Plus, if you've been around 30 years, it does not necessarily mean you're the best. I mean,
It
you look
doesn't.
at
It
sports.
means that you have survived 60 recessions, and that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like in sports, like every sport, like the best do not last 30 years or 25 years. No, it's usually just like the consistent guys that have always been mid-pack. So it's,
I
yeah,
mean,
I
how
mean,
many
if you,
championships have the Knicks run? Oh, one.
in their lifetime too, I think. But I mean, I was never
I,
born for
I
one of
think
them.
it's
So
zero. I don't think the Knicks have ever won one.
back in the 60s, I think they won one.
Oh, okay.
But
But either way, they're like one of the most like well-known, basketball teams out there. You get the Bulls, you get the Lakers, and then you get the Knicks, really,
yeah, exactly.
and they suck.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, just for being around for the longest does not make you the best anyway. So,
It doesn't. But if you can spin it into somehow how it's beneficial, you're better off. Military, hey, veteran owned. That's fantastic. A lot of us are veterans.
hmm,
How does
yeah,
you being a vet have anything to do with you coming and painting my bathroom? Now, if it's exactly even, one person versus the other, everything's exactly the same, apples to apples, and one person served in the military, and if you are a homeowner that has an affinity towards that, well, maybe you'll win. But if that is your platform, which I see a lot of, veteran owned, like, you know, I've got my combat action ribbon. Great job. Like, I love that you went out and served this country. But let me
hmm,
ask you, how does you fighting overseas necessarily help me with my bathroom? They're
yeah.
they're they're different.
It's like a secondary uh hiring, characteristic.
Yeah,
Like I think like my dad, a veteran, he would probably take that guy over someone who wasn't if they were on the same wavelength though. But it's not going to be the first reason why they're saying, yeah, I'm taking this guy. So,
correct. Unless you can spin it. Hey, I'm a veteran, which means I'm really regimented with our process, so you know you're going to get a quality experience with us, or something like that. It's
Hmm.
like if somebody applied to work here and they said, I was captain of the lacrosse team in high school. Okay, well, like that's great that you did that, but unless you can say, because I was captain of the lacrosse team in high school, I learned how to properly lead different personalities, and we ended up resulting in a championship. Well, now that makes sense. Okay, great. I'll more likely to hire that person.
Hmm.
So if you're a vet, great. How does that apply to this? How does your experience in the military translate over to what we're doing now?
Hmm. My dad, so with the oil company, the really pain point he hits is like the fear that people have is when he comes in with a big oil truck, is there's going to be a spill in their brand new paved driveway, and it's going to be like an oil mark or something leaking. And a lot of oil companies, the problem is their trucks are dirty. So the way my dad spins it, that he was in the Marines for 5 years, was, you know, if people are on the fence, he'll tell them like, oh yeah, I've been in business for 35 years, so that right there says, I'm not a new kid that doesn't know the risks that come with a new paved driveway and having to go in there. And then he's like, I was in the Marines before that. I run my operation like Marines. It's clean, it's tight. My trucks are clean. There's not a speck on them. They wash them every day. My drivers are trained. If something does happen, they know what to do. It's kind of like that's how he spins it. Just like you said, it's that military like approach. That's how he can spin it, and that usually gets people off their
Which is
pain
good.
point.
Which is a fantastic way to spin it, because the cleanliness aspect of it, we're going to show up on time, because like the last thing that you want is a contractor. Like, I mean, think about when DirecTV, yep, we're going to be at your house between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Make sure you're there. Like, are you
Yeah.
serious? Like, that's a whole day of anticipation that I can't leave the house, because damn well that 3 p.m. comes around, you're like, oh, I got to run out for 5 minutes. As soon as you leave, they're going to call you and go, hey, we're here. If you're not here in the next minute, we're leaving. So to have that, be able to spin that and wrap it back into this is how it benefits you, is better.
Hmm.
Family owned. How does this, I I see a lot of taglines that are so bad, because it's like, family owned and operated. But it's what us business owners do is we make it about us. We don't
Hmm.
make it about you.
Yeah. See, I get family owned operated if it's a different business than contracting, because yeah, there's big, contracting companies, but like most of them are family owned and operated though. So that would make sense to me. But if you're saying like, oh man, I don't know, maybe going besides like going to Apple or Android, if you said it was a family owned operated, phone store that you were making or whatever, it might be more enticing to not give it to big people. You'd go to like your community. But if you're a
That's true,
contractor, most of them are family owned and operated. So that wouldn't really make any sense to like try to sell that.
because everybody's family owned and operated.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you could somehow spin that one, say the phone store, family owned and operated. So as a local business, or like, we support local businesses, so we hope that you'll support us. Something where it's like, kind of playing that community feel to it. But either way, if you can't spin these, or you can't justify how your experience, your background, your situation benefits them, you're selling on the wrong stuff. And that's how it kind of all ties back to this status thing. So this, how we do it is, let's say for like the pond company or any other company, shit, doesn't matter. If you want to get in high-end homes and you want to get in people's homes that are status driven, then when you create content and you show you building whatever it is that they want, or you repainting their fence or whatever it is, if you need to also show the home, you need to show the cars they drive, because you want to do all these associations, right? Because if you look at Bayer back in body and you think, oh, this is what Shaq uses, well, now this is the athlete's sports screen.
Hmm.
And if and you see this all the time with like people who like do like auto detailing, right?
Yeah.
They take pictures of Ferraris and Bentleys and Lamborghinis and all these really high-end cars that they do. So you think, shit, they can do a Bentley or a Lamborghini, they're definitely going to do my Hyundai pretty well. Or if you're a Lambo or a Bentley owner, you're going to take it to them because you see this is the type of clientele that they service. So if you're a contractor and you are servicing these types of homes, when you do your content and you sell, you need to understand that you need to show what these people are used to seeing. Because if you can position yourself as, I am the high-end homeowner's remodeler, I am the high-end homeowner's painter, it's much easier to get back in those neighborhoods because they can go, well, they've taken care of other people that are like me, so I should hire them. And that's kind of how
Yeah.
it all comes back.
Yeah, it's one of the 5-step criteria you use for websites. It's the show me factor. So if you show that, and then, oh yeah, by the way, we're pretty high end. We exclusively work with high end clients, but if you have no pictures or videos or no content to prove that they got the 3 Mercedes in the driveway and, they live in, Chevy Chase, Maryland, it's like, hey, you got to show it. I mean, you could just be saying anything at this point. It's just words.
It's just words until you actually position it that way. So when you're doing this, you need to really showcase who you go after. And that's kind of like we're building a website for someone right now, and they were like, yeah, we want to go after the younger clientele. I'm like, great, do you have any pictures? Or I'm sorry, they said younger, but they also said like larger homes. We're like, do you have any pictures of like these larger homes if you ever built one? And they're like, I don't think so. It's much easier to sell work that you've done by saying, hey, we did this other job very similar to yours, because it's like the association of, well, they've already done it once, they can do it for me too. You need to position it that way. So if you're going into somebody's home and that has a couple of Mercedes, if you happen to have other project profiles that you've done where they have Mercedes as well, and you capture those Mercedes somehow in the video, in the blog, in the pictures, it's much easier to sell that because they already trust that you know how to work with a Mercedes owner.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. If say there's a contractor that they want to work more to the high end clientele, like obviously do a little bit more in like the lower, not quite as Mercedes, but maybe their only experience has been working in like the upper middle class to middle class, but they want to move into like the rich and famous or whatever in the $1 million homes and all that. How would you say to transition them into that? How would they go about trying to switch their clientele or kind of expand their clientele into that upper echelon region?
Stock images.
Stock images.
It's got to look real. It's got to, I mean, there's the good stock images and there's the bad ones. There's the ones where it's like, you have the painter wearing overalls and a hard hat to paint something, like they're using like, yeah, it's really bad. So you got those that are really bad, but you also have ones that are more similar. So they're showing high-end homes. And then you kind of step your way up from there. And if somebody says, oh, wow, that's a really nice kitchen, did you build that? And if it's not yours, then what I would say, because this is how I used to sell. I used to sell websites because I'm a very visual salesperson. So I say, pull up this website, let's walk through it. This is one that I built. But before I had a different style of websites, which is similar to the one I had now, I would say, do me a favor, go on this website. And they'd pull it up. And I'd say, all right, how do you like this website? And they're like, this is gorgeous. This is exactly what I want. And I'm like, okay, great. And if they said, did you build this? I'll say, no, but I know exactly how to do it.
Okay. I like that.
It was easy enough. I didn't lie. I didn't use someone else's work as my own. I just said no, but I know exactly how to do it. So if somebody says, oh, wow, this is a gorgeous kitchen. Is this your kitchen? Did you remodel this? And you can go, nope, but I know exactly how it's done.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Easy enough, right?
Yeah, I feel like with that, people are more in line to trust you because not every, like I know for me, what contractors actually take photos and take videos. Like before I started working here, I knew none. So that of course they're gonna be like, why are they gonna doubt you? Unless if Mercedes said, or did your dealership sell these cars to all these people? If they have like, all the celebrities they sold cars to, he goes, no, but the other Mercedes did. It's like, okay, well then this dealership is not that. But yeah, a horrible example. But yeah, contractors, I feel like it's just that's like an easy way to go around that and try to move up there. That's a good idea.
You got to start somewhere, and I totally get that. It's not always easy, but if you build a gorgeous kitchen based off one that maybe you had a stock image online, you build this gorgeous kitchen, well, now you're going to take pictures of it because you're proud of it, and now you actually have visual representation of what you can do.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, you gotta do work that content comes easy when you do work that you're proud to show off. You
yep.
know, it's those jobs where you're like, I don't really feel like showing this off, that they're like, they dread it and don't want to pull out their phone. So
Yeah, and that's yeah, and it's a cycle where, how do you sell high end work if you don't have high end pictures? But how do you get high end pictures if you don't do high end work? Just get some of those stock images, get ones of kitchens that you would like to do, because that's what we always ask people when we build a website. Hey, you've been in business for 5 years, whatever it is, 10 years, 16 years. What services do you want to do? What type of clientele do you want to go after? Because they're most likely out there.
mhm.
It's just, let's position you in front of those, because if your website's all about, painting, and you're actually trying to get more into remodeling, but everything you show is befores and afters of just painting, then what's somebody going to think when they want to hire you for a kitchen remodeling project? Probably can't handle it.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
So the easiest thing on this, guys, is to understand what people really want when they hire you. So when they say stuff like, if you say, hey, what are you looking for in a contractor? And they say, well, I want somebody who provides a good experience or a quality job. And instead of going, oh, well, I do that, go, okay, well, when you say quality job, I'm curious, quality is kind of subjective. What does that mean to you? Because now it's a bit different. Now it's like, well, it's got to be longer lasting. Well, what do you mean longer lasting? Well, I want to make sure that this stuff works well. Well, if you know that when they say that they want a quality job and they want, the paint has to last at least 7 years, 10 years, then you could very easily go, oh, by the way, we also have a warranty. We actually have a 10-year warranty. So if this, for some reason, I know you only want 7, but if it goes down in 10 years, because in the back of your head, let's say, for example, the paint's going to last 15 years, you go, well, we have a 10-year warranty and you're lasting for 7. So if after 7 years it goes down, we'll come back and do it for free. What do you think? They're way more likely to hire you then, because now you're selling on what they want.
Mhm.
What's the number one reason you have Amazon? You have Amazon Prime, right, Alex?
Mhm.
What's the number one reason you use it or you have it?
Next day shipping or 2 day shipping,
Yep.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Speed. How often have you ever gone on Amazon and before buying something, you went into the seller's profile to learn all about them, if they're a family run business, if they've been around for 30 years?
Never.
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 Because you don't give a shit about that. All you care about
No.
is it easy to
Getting as
buy,
fast as I
and
can.
is it going to get here in 2 days?
Yeah, exactly. That's
And
why I
that's
go to
why you go on
Amazon.
Amazon. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why, because you're going there for that reason. So, and that's what I talked to like Andrew about the other day about lighting, with this lighting company and outdoor lighting. And he was like, I don't know, like, how do we position it? Maybe we like, because he's like, because technically we're not as good as like the really high end electricians around here, because they can do a lot of stuff. And I was like, we're not going to beat them in being technical. So let's maybe beat them in speed. Maybe these guys are very good at their actual trade, but they suck at scheduling. So the fastest that they can come out there to fix your basic light is 2 months. But for us, maybe we somehow set up where, hey, we'll get there in a week, 1 week turnaround maximum.
Mhm.
Same idea of Amazon, 2-day shipping turnaround. Same thing as what Domino's was trying to do at 30 minutes or less. So if you can't beat them on being super technical or super this, find another tangible thing. And communication is a hard, or experience. Those are both hard, subjective things to really deliver on, because what does communication mean? But if you can say, this project, that like bath fitters gets your shit done in a day. That's why
Mhm.
people like it. They don't like it because it's like, oh, wow, this is a super high quality product. They like it because it's fast and it solves their immediate need.
Yeah, and everybody's definition of communication or good communication is different too. Like some people want to be
Correct.
updated every single step of the way. Other people just want to be like, tell me when there's a problem. That's so it's a it's a tough selling point to really hit on, because that could lead to some bad reviews if you don't hit what they expect.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, so there you go, guys. If you're in that boat where you think you know what you're trying to sell, or what you've been selling, or you're going for the high end clients, and for some reason they're still looking at you and comparing you to the low end people, let's talk about a website. Because this is what we do, is we go through it all with you. We figure out what your clients actually want, what they care about, and then we get that up on the website. And then that's how the game changes. That's how the average website has a conversion rate of 1%. We average 4%, 4 times more people that come to your website will fill out a contact form than on the average website, specifically because this is all we do. So if you want that, contractorgrowthnetwork.com. We'll see you there.